Good morning, everybody. Thanks to all the folks who sent in photographs over the last 24 hours. We've got lots of responses, still time to get some more in, so if you can get them into me by lunchtime, that would be great. Either WhatsApp, text, Facebook Messenger or email, and we'll try to put them all together. We're looking at this passage in 1 Corinthians 15 about the resurrection, and we come to a kind of a strange section of it just now, talking about, well, what's that going to look like when we have this new resurrection body, and Paul explains a little bit about it here. Someone will ask, how are the dead raised? With what kind of body do they come? You foolish person. What you sow does not come to life unless it dies. What you sow is not the body that is to be, but a bare kernel, perhaps of wheat or some other grain. But God gives it a body as He has chosen, and to each kind of seed its own body. For not all flesh is the same, but there is one kind for humans, another for animals, another for birds, and another for fish. There are heavenly bodies and earthly bodies. But the glory of the heavenly is of one kind, and the glory of the earthly is of another. There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars, for stars differ from stars in glory. So is it with the resurrection of the dead. What is sown is perishable, what is raised is imperishable. It is sown in dishonour, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There's a natural body, there is also a spiritual body. Thus it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. But it is not the spiritual that is first, but the natural, and then the spiritual. The first man was from the earth, man of dust. The second man is from heaven. As was the man of dust, so also are those who are of the dust. And as is the man of heaven, so also are those who are of heaven. Just as we have borne the image of the man of dust, we shall also bear the image of the man of heaven. It is a strange question, but it is a question that people do ask, and people still ask when it comes to thinking about things like the resurrection. They ask about, well, what kind of body, what's it going to look like? Am I going to recognize people? Are we going to recognize each other? And sometimes people ask it in terms of things like, well, this body that we have decays, or what happens whenever someone is cremated? How does that work? Paul is reminding the Corinthians here that they are talking about a God for whom all things are possible. This is a God who made the universe and everything we see around us by speaking it into being out of nothing. And so we can leave it to Him to bring this resurrection body out of our earthly bodies. But He does give them some idea of what this resurrection body might be like. It will be different from this body, but it will be in some ways continuous. So he says it will be imperishable. It will no longer be subject to the decay that these earthly bodies experience throughout our lives. The illnesses, the eating away at our faculties, none of that is part of this new body. There are no more indignities. This is a glorious body. So the indignities that too many people often experience when they are ill or when they enter into old age, those things are gone. This body is utterly glorious. It's powerful. There's no more weakness. So the weaknesses that we feel in our own bodies, the inability to do the things that we either used to be able to do or would like to be able to do, that's gone. That weakness is no longer part of the makeup of these bodies. They are powerful bodies, and they are supernatural, which is another way of kind of using that word spiritual. What used to be natural is now supernatural. This is a new and different kind of life inhabiting these bodies, a life from God, not from us. And most important of all, the image of Jesus will reflect itself in these bodies. This resurrection body will be like his resurrection body. That's what we have to look forward to, a body which no longer decays, in which there are no indignities, in which there are no weaknesses, in which we have this new powerful kind of life from God. That is what awaits us. That is our hope. That is the glory that we have to look forward to because of the resurrection. C.S. Lewis talks about this kind of body, or the way that we should see ourselves as human beings with an eternal future. And he writes this, talking particularly about our responsibility for our neighbours. The load or weight or burden of my neighbour's glory should be laid on my back, a load so heavy that only humility can carry it, and the backs of the proud will be broken. It is a serious thing to live in a society of possible gods and goddesses, to remember that the dullest and most uninteresting person you can talk to may one day be a creature which, if you saw it now, you would be strongly tempted to worship, or else a horror and a corruption such as you now meet, if at all, only in a nightmare. All day long, we are in some degree helping each other to one or other of these destinations. It is in the light of these overwhelming possibilities, it is with awe and the circumspection proper to them, that we should conduct all our dealings with one another, all friendships, all loves, all play, all politics. There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal. Nations, cultures, arts, civilizations, these are mortal, and their life is to ours as the life of a gnat. But it is immortals whom we joke with, work with, marry, snub, and exploit. Immortal horrors or everlasting splendours. C.S. Lewis takes it seriously. The idea that we are immortal, that we have an eternal future, and that for those of us whose trust is in Christ and his resurrection, that future is glorious beyond anything we can imagine. What a wonderful thing we have to look forward to, and a wonderful thing we have to offer to others as well. Trust that you know the hope that you have in this resurrection body to come. God bless.